Ever felt like you're trying to crack a code instead of getting to know someone? One moment, she's showering you with attention, opening up about her deepest fears, making you feel like you're on the verge of something real. The next, she's distant, her texts are short, and she's suddenly too busy. If you've been there, you know the mental gymnastics that follow. You replay conversations, scrutinize every emoji, and wonder, what did I do wrong? But what if I told you it's often not about you? What if these confusing signals, these hot and cold games, are less about manipulation and more about her own internal battle with uncertainty? As a psychologist who has spent years in the trenches of human connection, I've sat with countless men who are baffled by this dynamic. They see it as a test of wits, a battle to be won. But the truth is, when a woman is unsure about you, her behavior isn't always a calculated strategy. It's a reflection of her own internal conflict. She's navigating a landscape of hope, fear, past wounds, and a desire to protect her heart. So let's pull back the curtain on these emotional games. Not to teach you how to beat them, but to help you understand them, navigate them with confidence, and ultimately build something authentic. Why the games? The psychology of uncertainty. Before we dive into the specific behaviors, we have to understand the why. These games don't materialize out of thin air. They are often subconscious strategies rooted in deep-seated psychological needs and modern dating realities. First, let's consider the dating landscape for an attractive woman. While a man might put significant effort into getting a few matches on a dating app, she might have hundreds of applicants for the role of her partner. This isn't paradise. It's an overwhelming filtering process. She has to sift through countless interviews to figure out who is genuine, who is safe, and who is the best long-term fit for her. Along the way, women get emotionally exhausted, make mistakes, choose the wrong guys, and then have to start over. This experience conditions them to be cautious. These tests, then, are often a subconscious screening tool to probe a man's character and figure out who is worth the emotional investment. Secondly, this is where attachment theory comes into play. Our earliest relationships with caregivers create a blueprint, or an internal working model, for how we view relationships in adulthood. Many people don't have a perfectly secure attachment style. An anxiously attached woman craves intimacy and reassurance but lives with an intense fear of abandonment. Her games might involve seeking constant validation or testing your commitment to soothe her own anxiety. She might pull away just to see if you'll chase, proving to her, temporarily, that you care. An avoidantly attached woman associates closeness with a loss of independence or a threat of being hurt. She might desire connection but will push you away when things get too real. Her hot and cold behavior is a classic defense mechanism, a way to keep a safe distance while still dipping her toes in the water of connection. A woman with a disorganized attachment, often stemming from past trauma, can exhibit the most confusing behavior. She simultaneously craves and fears intimacy, leading to a volatile push-pull dynamic where she might dote on you one moment and accuse you of wrongdoing the next. Finally, there's the concept of cognitive dissonance. This is the mental discomfort we feel when we hold two conflicting beliefs or when our actions don't align with our beliefs. For a woman who is unsure about you, the dissonance might be, I feel a connection with him, clashing with, but I'm not sure if he's truly a good, reliable man. The games are her way of trying to resolve this dissonance. She'll create situations to gather more data, to see if you're patient, confident, and consistent, so she can align her feelings with a logical decision. So, when you see these behaviors, try to look beyond the surface-level frustration. Often you're not dealing with a master manipulator, but with a person trying to protect herself while figuring out if you're the real deal. The playbook, common games and what they really mean now. Let's break down the common maneuvers you might encounter. I've grouped them into themes to help you see the underlying motivation behind each one. Part 1. The attention audit, games of validation and interest. These games are designed to gauge your level of interest and often to get a little ego boost. They are the earliest and most common tests you'll face. 1. Look at me while I pretend not to see you. This is often the very first game, played before a single word is exchanged. She wants to get your attention while pretending she hasn't even noticed you. She might walk past you like a catwalk model, looking straight ahead, only to stop a few feet away and dramatically look around as if searching for someone. Or if you've agreed to meet, she might bury her nose in her phone, forcing you to be the one to spot her and initiate the greeting. What it is, a subtle power play to frame you as the chaser and her as the prize. By making you do the work of noticing her, she establishes a dynamic where you are pursuing her from the very beginning. How to navigate it: don't overinvest. If she's playing the can't see you game, simply walk up calmly and say, "Hey, Sarah." Don't make a big deal of it. If she does the catwalk, you can even smile with a bit of amusement. By not getting flustered, you show you're not easily manipulated and you recognize the game for what it is. 2. The hot and cold shuffle. This is perhaps the most classic and frustrating game. One day she's showering you with affection, texting you enthusiastically, and making you feel like the most important person in the world. The next day she's distant, unresponsive, and her replies are one-word answers. This sudden shift leaves you confused and insecure. What it is: this is a multi-purpose tool. For an anxious woman, it's a test. Will he stick around even when I pull away? For an avoidant woman, it's a defense mechanism to create space when she feels overwhelmed. For an emotionally immature woman, it can be a way to maintain control and keep you on your toes, constantly trying to win back her affection. How to navigate it: do not chase or overreact. When she goes cold, give her space. Don't bombard her with texts asking what's wrong. Live your life. When she comes back hot, don't immediately rush in with overwhelming enthusiasm. Match her energy calmly. This shows you have emotional stability and your world doesn't revolve around her. Your consistency in the face of her inconsistency is the ultimate pass. 3. Breadcrumbing, the art of the bare minimum. Breadcrumbing is when a woman gives you just enough attention to keep you interested, but never enough to move things forward. It's the late night "you up?" text with no follow-up, the occasional like on your social media, or the playful message that appears just when you're about to give up. What it is: she enjoys the validation and ego boost your attention provides, but she's not interested enough to invest real time or effort. You're not the guy she wants, but she doesn't want to lose you as a source of attention. You've become an emotional placeholder. How to navigate it: stop rewarding crumbs with a full meal. If she gives you low-effort attention, give her low-effort responses or none at all. Focus your energy on women who are willing to offer you the whole loaf. Your time and attention are valuable. Don't give them away to someone who only values them when she's bored or lonely. Part 2, the proving grounds, games of investment and value. These games are designed to test your commitment, your resources, and your willingness to invest in her. They're a way for her to assess your value as a potential provider and your seriousness about her. 4. Prove yourself to me, aka the dance. Monkey dance game. This is a soft power game where she creates hoops for you to jump through. It can be subtle. For example, she might make a joke about how she only dates crazy smart men, waiting for you to list your intellectual achievements. Or she might challenge your opinions on everything from movies to politics, not to have a healthy debate, but to see if you'll back down and align your preferences with hers. What it is: a test of your confidence and self-worth. She wants to see if you have a strong sense of self or if you're willing to change who you are to win her over. Men who easily change their opinions come across as distrustful and lacking a backbone. How to navigate it: hold your ground, but do it with humor and confidence. If she challenges your favorite movie, playfully say, "I didn't just like it, I loved it, and you will too if you watch it again with me." You don't need to agree with her, but you do need to show you're confident in your own opinions and open to healthy debate. You can even playfully turn the frame around. If she says, "I only date guys who are ambitious," you can reply with a smile, "That's great. I only date women who are supportive of big ambitions." How do you measure up? 5. The investment test. Will you buy me a drink? This is the classic game of making the man pay for and invest in her. It includes expecting you to pay for all the dates, buy her gifts, or run to her aid whenever she has a problem. Gold diggers are an extreme example, but many women play a softer version of this to gauge your provider potential and your perceived value. What it is: it's a way to establish a value differential. The more you invest without reciprocation, the more you subcommunicate that she is of higher value than you. In some cases, a woman who feels insecure about your interest might ask for favors to test if you're genuinely invested. How to navigate it. This is culturally dependent, but a good rule is to be generous, not a doormat. It's fine to pay for the first date, but pay attention to her attitude. Does she act entitled, or does she show appreciation? Does she do the check dance, at least pretending to offer to chip in. A high-quality woman will appreciate your generosity but won't take it for granted. If she's constantly asking you to do favors or spend money on her before you've even established a real connection, it's a red flag. A relationship where one person only gives and the other only takes is not a partnership. It's a sucker's game. Part 3. The Pace Car. Games of Control and Timing. These games are about controlling the pace of the relationship and maintaining power. They often prey on a man's fear of losing the opportunity. 6. The Texting Delay Game. This is one of the most common and overanalyzed games. You send a thoughtful message and then you watch the clock. Hours, maybe even a day, go by before you get a reply. When her message finally arrives, it's often short and snubbing. What it is, a power move. The person who takes longer to respond is often perceived as being less invested and having more power. She's showing you that her time is more valuable and that she's not just sitting by the phone waiting for you. It can also be a test of your patience and neediness. How to navigate it. A common response is to wait even longer to reply. This is a solid but ultimately juvenile strategy. A more mature approach is to break the cycle. The first time she does it, you can wait a bit longer and keep your text shorter. But then, when she replies again, reply within a reasonable time frame, like an adult. You must be the one to stop the game. If her delays are consistently long and she avoids your invitations to meet in person, it's a clear sign of disinterest. Let it die. 7. The last-minute cancel. You have a date planned. You're looking forward to it. Then, on the day of the date, you get a text. Something came up. The reason is vague, and there's no offer to reschedule. What it is. This can be a genuine emergency, but often it's a test of your interest and a power move. The person who cancels communicates that they care less about the meeting. It can also be a way to see how you'll react. Will you get angry? Will you beg to reschedule? How to navigate it. Look for key signals. A woman with genuine interest who has to cancel will be apologetic, give a specific reason, and, most importantly, propose an alternative time to meet. If you just get a flippant last-minute text with no apology or offer to reschedule, your response should be cool and detached. A simple, "Okay, hope everything is all right," is enough. Then, let her be the one to reinitiate. If she was genuinely interested, she will. If she was playing a game, you've shown her that you have self-respect and won't be messed around. 8. Withholding sex or affection. In a developing relationship, she might suddenly shut off physically. The cuddling stops, the kisses become pecks, and any advance toward intimacy is met with an excuse. In a more established relationship, this can turn into outright sex blackmailing. We can have sex, but only if you do X for me. What it is. This is a powerful control tactic. She's using your desire for intimacy as a bargaining chip to get what she wants or to test how much power she holds over you. It can also be a signal that she doesn't feel emotionally close to you, as physical and emotional intimacy are often deeply connected for women. How to navigate it. Never give in to sex blackmailing. It communicates that you're easily manipulated and that she holds all the power. A better approach is to address the emotional distance. In a calm, non-accusatory way, you could say, "I've noticed you've seemed a little distant lately, and I wondered if there was a reason for that. I'm here to listen." This cuts through the game and gets to the root of the issue. If it's a clear bartering game, you can express your disappointment that she would stoop that low, as it undermines the foundation of a supportive relationship. Part 4. The Reconnaissance Mission. Games of Information Gathering. These games are about gathering intelligence. She's unsure about you, so she's probing for information about your character, your past, and your intentions without having to ask directly. 9. So, do you talk to a lot of girls here? The player test. You make a great first impression. You're confident, charming, and flirty. This can sometimes backfire by making her think you're a player. She might ask questions like, "Do you always flirt with girls at coffee shops?" Or, "How many other women are you talking to on this app?" What it is. A test of your genuineness. She's trying to figure out if your interest in her is sincere, or if you're just running your routine on every woman you meet. It's often a sign of her own insecurity. She likes you, so she feels vulnerable. How to navigate it. Respond playfully and confidently without over-explaining or getting defensive. If she asks if you flirt with a lot of girls, you could say with a smile, "Totally, you're the fourth one today." "Kidding, I just prefer to meet people in person." This deflects the test with humor while still reassuring her. You don't owe her your entire dating history, but a little confident reassurance can go a long way. 10. Triangulation, bringing up other men. She casually mentions a male friend who is a little too close, a coworker who won't stop complimenting her, or all the guys messaging her on a dating app. What it is. This is a veiled threat known as triangulation. She's letting you know she's in demand and has other options. It's an immature way to gauge your interest and to see if you'll get jealous. She's looking for confirmation that you see her as valuable and don't want to lose her. How to navigate it. Stay composed. Don't show jealousy. Your mindset should be that other guys don't matter because there's only one you. You could say something calm and confident like, "He sounds like a cool guy." By not reacting, you demonstrate that you're secure and not threatened by competition. This confident response is far more attractive than a jealous outburst. 11. The X-Files. She keeps bringing up her ex. "My ex used to do this," or "My ex and I always went there." It can feel like you're being compared to a ghost. What it is. Sometimes this is a sign she's not over her ex, but often it's an indirect way of telling you how she wants to be treated. She's using her past relationship as a benchmark to communicate her expectations. It can also be a ploy to get your attention or a test of your emotional reaction. How to navigate it. Avoid reacting negatively or getting into a competition with her ex. Remember, they broke up for a reason. Steer the conversation back to the present. You could say, "I'm sure he had his good points, but I'm more interested in what you and I can create. Are you trying to tell me you'd like me to be more affectionate?" This shows you're listening to the underlying need without getting caught up in the game. When it's not a game, it's crucial to remember that not every confusing behavior is a calculated game. Sometimes men overanalyze and see tests where there are none. "Let's just be friends" is almost never a game. When a woman says this, she usually means it. The only exceptions are rare situations where she might be trying to protect her reputation, for instance, with a coworker. "I see you more like a brother" is also not a test. This is a clear if gentle rejection. Women simply don't say this to men they are sexually attracted to. She's shy, inexperienced, or socially awkward. Some people have a hard time sending the right signals because they're nervous or don't like to be vulnerable. Her hesitation might not be a game but a genuine reflection of her personality. The key is to look for patterns. A single canceled date is life. A pattern of canceled dates is a message. Conclusion. The only way to win is to stop playing. Navigating the world of dating can feel like walking through a minefield of emotional games. But as we've seen, these games are often not born of malice, but of fear, insecurity, and the deep-seated human need to find a safe and reliable partner. Understanding the psychology behind these tests is your first step toward freedom. The ultimate goal is not to become a master game player yourself. The only way to truly win is to build your own self-respect and confidence to a point where you no longer need to play. It's about being direct, authentic, and clear about your own intentions. It's about having the courage to have an open conversation when you feel confused, and the strength to walk away when your needs aren't being met. When you operate from a place of genuine confidence, you create a space where games are unnecessary. A high-quality woman will recognize that security and will feel safe enough to drop her defenses and meet you with the same authenticity. The right relationship shouldn't feel like a constant test or a chess match. It should feel like a partnership, a journey of mutual discovery built on trust, respect, and the beautiful vulnerability of two people choosing to be real with each other. That's not a game. That's the prize.